Hey everyone, it's Ryan back for another live episode of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show here at the Smokin' Studios. Got an absolutely fantastic guest. As everybody knows, you've all seen the promo. I've been pitching it out. We've got the man, the myth, and the legend, Abe Debabneh from Smokin' Cigars on the show tonight. We will be doing a few giveaways. We're not having Abe on in December and not gonna do some stuff. Abe's super gracious. We're gonna do a TGS ticket giveaway. And we're also going to do some Micallef cigar giveaways as well. I've got five packs that I'm going to be giving away, as well as a 20 count bundle. All right. So we've got five packs of the Micallef A, Gordo, and then I have a 20 count bundle that I will be giving away as well. So we've got a lot to do on the show tonight. We've got a lot to give away. So sit back, smoke them, light them up, go pour yourself a drink and sit back and enjoy the show. Now, huge shout out to all the show sponsors that remotely make this possible. Obviously, Abe being the main sponsor of the show here, with this being the Smokin' Studios. One of these days, I do got to get like a sign that says Smokin' Studios. I think that would be really cool to have in the background. I think that would be absolutely awesome. And obviously all the other sponsors that make this show possible as well: BAMF, Sagrado, Kristoff, Big Sky, Cigar Clowns, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, Cornell and Diehl Pipe Tobacco, as well as West Tampa Espanola Tobacco. So thank you to everybody. And so, without any further ado, I'm getting a little tongue tied. I always get nervous when Abe comes on. I feel like I've got like this massive duty to just have an amazing intro, and I ended up always messing it up and tripping over my words. But it is what it is. So, nobody's here to listen to me talk at all. So we're going to go ahead and bring in the reason why everybody even shows up for the show every week, which is not me, it's the guest. How you doing, brother?
What's going on? Good to be
Not
back.
much. Not much, man. It's an absolute always an honor to have you back to have you back in the studio here. So let's do a little bit of catch up with you, Abe. It's been a few months since you've been on. You were on earlier in the spring. How was your summer? You've been traveling a ton. Well, no, you had some traveling with Brandy. We all saw the pictures where you guys were out and about.
Mhm.
So how was your summer, and then how has your fall been, and how was your Thanksgiving?
It's been very seasonal and very festive. I mean, summer was summer. Our kids are at the ages now where they have all practices and camps and sports camps and stuff like that. So really, we didn't do any traveling this summer. Um, and then, I couldn't, we're in Florida. I couldn't even tell you when fall was. And, just chugging along, grinding away. My wife and I did go to New York for a few days in November, which was great. It was a great time. And now I'm sitting here with you.
And hey, I'm the best part of your week. I already know I am.
I was looking forward to this all week, man. All week.
I know you just eagerly await the
All
email
week.
from Marissa with the notification that you're coming on the show.
All week.
So, well, Abe, I am going to be smoking tonight, as this is the only segment of the show that we do sponsored by the big man himself, Steve Sack, over at Dunbarton Tobacco Trust. I am going to be smoking the exclusive black that you guys put out, which I gotta say, man, this cigar is stout. It's heavy. It is a long smoking cigar. I love it, but I'm a big fan of the box press. And obviously I had to get a box. How are these selling? Are they selling through well? Is it going to be a normal thing for you?
No, it's a regular production item for us. I mean, look, I mean, we started talking to the folks over at Micallef and Dan like the month this came out. That's how long it took to really get this on our shelves. Love the shape, love the Vitola. I think it brings out more of the cigar. And we're happy to have it. It's kind of like our really first regular production. I mean, Yeah, I think this would be our first regular production item for our shop that's, that we'll have all the time. So very excited about it.
Well, I think it's a very good cigar. I love the box press. I like the bigger size. It like I said, it smokes great. There's no issues with it. Obviously, it's Micallef, and you guys don't put out anything bad at all, as well as smoke in. So, well, thank you so much, Steve Saka, for sponsoring the "What Are You Smoking Tonight" segment. I'd ask Abe, but I already know he's in his house
Does
and
he
he's
does he
not
know
smoking.
does he know that he's sponsoring a segment where you predominantly won't be smoking his cigars?
Yes, because he wanted to promote a segment of the show that says sponsored by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, and it's every single week. So he actually asked for this. He said, "I want to promote something. I want to be a segment or something." So I said, "Okay."
Yeah,
So
good for him. Yeah, I'm at home. I'm not in the office, so I'm in a smoke-free zone, unfortunately, right now. But I do got a good cup of coffee.
now is that now you have such incredible coffee. For those of you guys that have never been to the mothership actually prides itself on its quality coffee and cappuccinos. When you're at home, are you what's your setup like at home? Do you have an
Same
equivalent?
setup,
You have the same machine from the shop?
smaller version of it. We don't need to produce. We don't need something with the output that that machine has. Same company. In fact, I had it at home first, and then we got it at the shop. I'm like, this thing is so great, man. We had it here and we loved it, and then we started incorporating it into our stores, and
Well,
everybody seems to like it.
no, it does a really good job. I brought my uncle in, my uncle Tim, who's a retired game warden out of Vero Beach, and he said the same thing. Your cappuccino, the Irish coffee that you guys make, is absolutely fantastic. So Kevin actually has a quick question here. He says, speaking of Dunbarton, are there any details that you can give us around the new Smokin' Dunbarton exclusive?
If they're talking about the one that just sold out, it really doesn't make a difference because it's gone now. Look, it was, if you're talking about the Micarita #2, it was a Pata Para blend. It was based off the Pata Para blend that Steve tweaked a little bit for the Vitola, but an Ace cigar is cool. 9-inch, 9.5-inch cigar is cool. Like once a year, twice a year when you really got that much time to kill. So I really liked that blend. I enjoyed it, but you're seldom going to catch me smoking an A. Just don't have that kind of leisurely time on my hands. So to get that a nice like torpedo size was a score for us, and everybody seems to like it. Everybody's been raving about it. So that was the skinny on this last release. Now we do have our TGS cigar coming up with him, which will drop if you're a TGS ticket holder. It'll be available to you. We're having a broadcast with him on January 8th at night, and that's when we'll drop that. So these are some of the event only special cigars that are available only to ticket holders of the Great Smoke. January 8th is the first one with Dunbarton. I actually got to cheat and look at the website.
I feel like Dunbarton's usually the first one the last several years
It depends. You want to know the truth on why he's the first one?
because he's always got it in there.
He's always on time, and I don't have to worry about him being late. And he's got it down to a science. So that's why sometimes we worry about these cigars not coming in on time so that we could have them when they dropped. So when it drops, so that's typically why he's probably the first one. So here we go. I'm just pulling up the website. The first one is Dunbarton, which is, like I said, January 8th. Then we have, I'm kind of excited about this one. It's the Knuckle Sandwich by Guy Fieri and Eric Espinoza. So it's going to be a special version of the Knuckle Sandwich cigar that was produced for the Great Smoke only. So I'm kind of excited about that. And then got a real cool concept cigar. This one's going to drop on the 26th of February. So those are 3 dates, 8th, 5th, and 26th. Now, you have to have a Great Smoke ticket, whether it's virtual, live, doesn't make a difference because that ticket gets you access to the store to buy these special products. But the last one is with Rocky Patel, and it's called Joust. Our theme is Renaissance revival, so it's called Joust. And what's cool is it's 5 cigars that I've chosen to blend and 5 cigars that Rocky's chosen to blend. So it's 2 different blends in the box, and it's a little bit of a joust. And we're going to kind of see which one people like more.
So I gotta ask you, obviously, working with somebody like Rocky or getting Rocky Patel probably to do a project, that's gotta be kind of difficult. I mean, I feel like they're so busy. They've got so many different blends, stuff on the shelf. How do you work with a
Rocky's
company?
semi-retired, man. He's traveling the
Well,
world,
yeah,
living
I'm saying
living the
Rocky
lifestyles of the
personally.
rich and famous.
Yeah, he's on his yacht. I'm saying the company, not Rocky specifically, but
Well, that's where you got teams of good people. I mean, we've been working on this over a year now, and the part was just I had to pick which blend I wanted out of the blends that were offered to me, and Rocky picked his, and his team does the rest, bro.
well, how hard is it to with a company that's got that established Rolodex of different blends and branches and vitolas? How do you get to find something that makes them feel new? Is that a hard thing to do? Does that make sense?
So the Great Smoke releases, and this is why they're not called micro blends, which is something we started back in 2010. Are not projects where we're involved really in the developmental or blending of the
Correct.
project. Now, I was on this one with Rocky because it's called Joust, but I just simply was sent a bunch of samples and picked the one I liked the most, right? Versus the one he's picking. So, um, our micro blends were more involved. Sometimes we'll have an idea of, hey, we really like this cigar, but I think it would like one of my favorite ones is AJ Fernandez. We really liked one of his production cigars, but we really wanted to try it in a Cameroon wrapper. And we thought it would be cool. And, the feedback we got when we were talking to AJ's people is, AJ don't like to be told what wrapper to use. you know, you don't want to be told how to make a cigar. But he ended up doing it, liked it, actually praised us for it. And that cigar was our anonymous micro blend, yeah, that he made for us. So it's sometimes it's our thoughts, sometimes it's them just making blends. And we were working with Aganorsa now, where we did those SI
Yes.
tasting. We did those SI tasting packs, and we kind of wanted to see what our socialite group. And if you're watching, you don't know what I'm talking about. My company Smoke In has a pretty awesome community on Facebook. It's called Smoke In Social. Check it out. It's really a healthy, friendly, loving environment where we maintain it, work on it very hard, and the community is very strong. So we wanted to develop a regular production house cigar, and we were going to call it SIS, Smoke and Social, right? Kind of in tribute to the group, now over 6,000 members strong. And we sent out these packs that we smoked, and weren't lying, but nothing came back to the point where we said, yeah, this is what we want to put our Smoking Social name on and put a cigar on it. So we took the blend that scored the highest by everybody and had really kind of the consensus of what they liked. And Terrence went back to the drawing board and made variations of that, which he dropped off in my office like a week or two ago. I posted a picture of it. And my team's going to go through those, and we're all going to kind of blindly pick our picks and can come back to it and see if hopefully there's some kind of consensus on which one we think it'll be it.
Is there a consensus on a size, or is it like the pack? They're all in different sizes, or did you at
No,
least pick
I
a
mean, look,
size?
when you do something like this, right? When you're making a project like this, so um, this may be offered in different sizes because this is going to be another regular production item. So, and it's going to be unlike the Micallef Black, which already exists, and we have an exclusive size. This is going to be an exclusive item in our shop. So it may come out in three different sizes, maybe one to start, but you know, hopefully it'll have some success and we'll probably make it in three different sizes eventually.
In a perfect world, when do you see that released?
Man, there's so many plates spinning right now. I've been working now over a year on this project with Paulie from La Casa Grande. Um, Sometime in the summer, late fall next year.
Okay, okay. So potentially fall going into Christmas style release of next year.
Yeah, beginning sometime in fall, probably realistically.
And what can you give us any additional details around TGS around I know we all know you got Michael Knowles going, which I'm really disappointed. I I am a huge Daily Wire guy. Every single day I listen to every one of their podcasts. And I am really disappointed that I won't be able to make it down there this year to be able to meet him. Everybody probably saw him on KMA, which was a great interview. He really is sharp. He's a lot sharper around cigars than I expected,
No, Michael,
personally.
look, so the story goes like this, you know, Alex heard that there was a cigar coming out a couple years ago, reached out, sent an email to the company. Cigar comes out, and a year and a half later, someone reaches out back to us about the cigar. And I don't, at this point, I don't think they're in any retail store.
Mm-mm.
So I did a little research on, who's making the cigar, how it's being distributed, because they do have a online, they sell directly to consumers. So that's usually a turnoff for me. I've kind of said it before, and I've given this advice to a lot of companies starting up over there. You got to pick a lane. You want to be a brand owner and make a brand, or do you want to be a retailer? If you're going to build a site that's going to sell your cigars directly to consumers, essentially now you're a retailer. And what happens is you'll never excel great at both. So, you got to really pick a lane, and then it's hard. It's hard for some of these guys to make that decision because they want the quick revenue. Which I tell people all the time, man. Sometimes your model might be just directly to consumers, and forget the traditional way of going to the
Sure.
trade show and getting all the retailers. Build it directly to the consumer. I mean, I give them that straight up advice. But I really wasn't. I was really turned off in the initial information I found out about him, and then we got in a call, and I talked with him, and I realize this guy is not making just a cigar brand. He's well versed in kind of how this industry works and what's important and how to build a brand in a company. I was a little taken aback. I was a little surprised. A lot of history he knew about too in the industry. So this wasn't a guy who just out of the blue with no background said, I want to make a cigar. So that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And we talked with his team a little bit more. We told the team about what we do in the Great Smoke, and they got very excited. And it's been a great relationship. He came by our shop, had a great time with him, got to talk with him, and he's coming down to the Great Smoke. So, look, anytime, and it's really funny because there were some people who had some negative comments because of his job and his
Because
position.
everybody has a comment.
Look, I mean, unfortunately, we live in a world today where people just put too much weight on their opinion, and they actually think that people give a shit, right? So, in this industry that we have that's so fickle and really fragile, anytime you can have someone of that kind of caliber with that kind of audience, that like a Guy Fieri, like Michael Knowles, that like a Chaz Palminteri, that can just promote this lifestyle in a positive way, bring more awareness, bring more people into our fold. It's a good thing. I don't care what you're, unless you're a pedophile or a serial killer. I mean, it's hard not to have a positive impact. So, it was good. I mean, look, a lot of times when you meet people, like whether it's Guy Fieri or Michael Knowles, right, and like you're like you see them in their shows or their job and what they do for a living, and then you meet them in person. I'm going to tell you, man, more times than not, you're let down, right? They're not personable, they're not friendly. This guy was like, man, like I felt like I knew him for 10 years, like we were old buddies. I mean, we were just having a really good time, and that's just great to see. I think it's going to resonate. I think it's going to resonate well as he meets more and more of the cigar community. And we're popping his cherry in a big way. He's coming. His first ever cigar event is going to be the Great Smoke. So I mean,
Everything's going to be downhill until the
yeah, I
next
mean,
one.
unfortunately for him, it's probably going to be downhill from there. But I mean, we're really bringing him in right. So it'll be cool. It'll really be cool to see and get his feedback once he experiences, because I'm sure it's something he's never seen
Now,
before.
did you know of Michael Knowles before?
Yes, I'm a fan of the Daily Wire, Ben
Okay.
Shapiro, Candace Owens, all those people. I mean,
Andrew
I lean
Clayton.
more. I lean more in that political view.
Sure. No, well, I have a tendency to think that a lot of people in the cigar community, that I would say more than half of the cigar community leans center right, regardless of getting into the nitty-gritty of it. I just say on a scale, and you're a better judge of that with you being in the industry a lot longer than
I,
I
I,
have.
I think the people who enjoy cigars are probably lean more right. But look, I mean, whether it's right or left, the extreme of either side
Doesn't
is always
matter.
wrong.
Oh,
It's always
it's
the wrong
awful.
place to be,
It's
right? I mean,
awful.
whether you're right or left, the closer you are to center, the more realistic and practical the universe is. As soon as the further you get away from the center, it's when the insanity starts.
Well, yeah, that's where you get all the loud ones. The squeaky wheels always get the grease.
Yeah, everything, whether it's
So
religion, whether it's politics, center balance is always a good place to be.
correct. That's one of the fun things about the show Wife Swap, is if you've ever seen that they took a wife swap or dad swap, or where they
I
would
think
take the
I only
extremes.
saw one episode of Wife Swap in my life, and it was Ric Flair and Rowdy Rodney
Roddy
Piper,
Piper, yeah.
because they were they
That's
were they were
hilarious.
close friends before,
Yeah.
God rest his soul. I think that was the only episode of Wife Swap I've ever watched.
Well, you end up finding out you only really need to watch one because they all make the same point. They take the extremes of either side just to show you that a comfortable middle is probably where you should be.
Always, always
But
the best place to be.
so, what are we expecting then with Michael Knowles for those that are going to be there? And I'm asking the question because last year Guy Fieri was there to sign, and then pretty much left. He had another gig. Guy Fieri's a completely different level as far as busy is concerned.
Guy is a maniac.
He's
I mean,
nuts.
he's an absolute maniac. Guy was talking about coming from the beginning. He knew the food and wine show in Miami was in town. He reached out to me 5 6 months in advance to see if he could land a helicopter. I said I could probably make this happen. I could probably make this happen. And as we got closer and closer to the event, didn't hear nothing from him. So I'm like, okay, he might not come. I mean, it's hard for him to come up and to get back down. That's why he wanted a helicopter. Get a message from him at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. on Friday, the day before event. Hey, are we set? Set, bro. You got to get clearance. This is right next to an international airport, man. You're not flying a chopper in. And we tried to make it happen in just like 3 hours, but it didn't happen. But what does he do? He ends up getting in a car and getting a police escort all the way up from Miami. And he stayed as long as he could. And believe me, when I saw him at the trade show a month later, he says it kills him that he can't stay for that whole event because he really, really enjoys it. So, um, Michael and the team, I think, are coming down, right? And they're there for the whole day. They got nowhere to go. I think, and I don't know. I know they've mentioned this. They want to set up something for his podcast and do a little taping from the Great Smoke
Oh,
there.
that would be awesome.
So, yeah, hell yeah, it would be awesome. So, look, we're as always, we just look at all aspects of what can be done, and we try to make it the most positive experience possible for everybody.
Now, are we expecting to see you pulling him up on a stage? Is that gonna be, was that talked about? Like that's okay? And
Absolutely. Why wouldn't we?
well, I don't know. I just was just asking the question. I know you did it with
Sure.
Chaz and
Sure.
and stuff last year, so I was
Yeah,
just curious.
can't miss a notable, can't miss out on having somebody notable like him up on stage. Sure.
So, are we going to see maybe a Michael Knowles special smoke and release at some point?
I think they're far from those stages still.
Okay. Well, who knows? I mean, the guy's
You know?
cigars sold before they ever even hit market. Like, are gone.
Well, when you have 2 million followers, it's not that hard to sell anything. But
Perfect.
more importantly, it's been selling within our shop, so it's resonating with the cigar community. I'm very happy and impressed, to be honest with you.
Is it selling like any other average cigar, or is it selling above average?
No, it's selling above average for a new release. Look, here's the problem. You have new releases from companies that are in existence and people who have their following, right? Um, and then you have new releases from companies who just came out. So the guys who've been in existence always, Steve Saka comes out with a new release, it's selling out. So it's harder when you're coming out of nowhere, and he's the brand is doing far better than anything I could remember of bringing in a brand like that cold, you know?
Well, that's good. And it again, I was taken aback on KMA when Coop is taken aback at somebody's historical knowledge of cigars. Like that says a lot. He was naming off really old places, places that didn't exist, and it was really actually impressive. But it was great to see because he never goes into his love of cigars on that level, and it was nice to know that he's not just a cigar smoker, but he's actually a
No,
cigar nerd.
no, he's a geek. He's a cigar geek.
Yeah, he's definitely a geek, and that's awesome to be able to see. So, well, I
Yeah.
tell you, let's go ahead here. We're gonna do our first giveaway. This is gonna be the very first giveaway of this entire new setup that I'm doing here, and we're gonna be giving away the first 5 pack of Micallef cigars here. So all I need everybody to do watching is just type in Micallef into the search bar, and we'll give everybody a second here to do that. And we'll go ahead and get a winner selected. So, anybody watching right now, go ahead and type in the word Micallef into the comments section, and we'll go ahead and see what we can give away
The
here.
comment section on Facebook.
Facebook or YouTube, it doesn't matter. I can gather them all.
All right.
So we'll give everybody a couple minutes here. If you're watching the show, please go ahead and type in the word Micallef for the very first giveaway here. And we'll go ahead and give everybody a little bit of time to set that up. So as you're putting together this TGS, and I like asking this question, what did you learn from last year that you're applying this year?
Oh, I need notes for that, buddy. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, look, one thing we're doing is we're changing up the table in general admission, right? So the general admission seating has never been meant for, let me sit my ass here and this is where I'm going to sit for the rest of the event, right? The general admission seating is kind of like a gen pop seating thing where it's let me sit down somewhere so I could eat my food and whatever, and then you get up and go, right? Because it's like not enough seating for everybody who has a general admission ticket. That's one of the perks of the VIP section is there's literally a seat for every ticket holder, right? So if you bought a VIP ticket, you're guaranteed you got a chair that's yours there all day. So we're getting rid of the rounds, and it was kind of perfect timing being like a medieval event. And we're going to do long rows of square table, rectangle tables, like the RML dinner style. And I think like I did the math. I mean, it was like, I felt like I was in college pre-cal or high school pre-cal for a second. But I think I was able to get in about 170 more seats that way. So it's going to be a little bit more. It's going to look a lot more packed because these tables are taking up a lot of room. But in the same area, it's going to seat a lot more people. So there's stuff like that we look at every year, and there's things that change every year. Like, if Michael Knowles doesn't want to do a podcast, I need to find him a spot, make sure he has the power, make sure he does stuff like that. Um, Art and stage and themes design, that's all handled by Stephanie. So I don't really got to worry about it. Um, she kind of handles that and has done a great job for us over the years. Um, my big goal now is logistics, hunting down every cigar manufacturer, getting the event cigars, packing the boxes, getting them out to all the people. Our ticket flow, receiving people last year was probably the best in 18 years of us ever doing this. It was super quick, super simple flow. Even the 5 or 6 women who are great, who work that event every morning, just taking people's tickets and giving them their packs, said this was the best year ever. So, we sit our traditional thing that we do every year, the Monday after the Great Smoke, is we will sit in a room, about 5, 6 of us, for about 3 hours plus and just go over everything and write down all the notes of what we want to address for next year, what worked great, what didn't work great. And that's, I think that commitment to that protocol is really what's made the Great Smoke continue to improve every year, because that's an important, it's an important thing for us, is that it's really supposed to get better every year. I mean, I never, whether it's a promotion, whether it's an event, it's very easy. And this is, I think, where most people kind of miss the mark in sales or marketing or event planning or whatever you want to call it. It's very easy when you have something successful just to let it be, right?
Oh, yes.
Don't fuck with it. Everybody loved it. Yeah, okay. Everybody loved it this year, and they'll love it next year, and maybe they'll love it a little bit the third year, and by the eighth year, man, it's the same old pony show. You know what I mean? So, I don't care how good a promotion is, whether we do our summer of soccer or soccer claws or whatever. The goal is always, how do we make this better? And it's funny because I could tell you in the course of my career, I've either heard or people have said in front of me, "But how do you get better than this? There's no way you get better." And yet somehow we've been successful to always find ways to kind of make things better. So I think that's the thing I'm most proud of our company and our team. We will come up with a way. I mean, the digital experience was the perfect example.
That's the most growth shown over the last several years.
But I'm just saying, I mean, that's the perfect example, right? The world is shut down. Everybody's canceling events. What do? Are we going to do a virtual event like you and I are here and make like it's something special? Absolutely not. And we sat in a room for 4 hours, man, just pounding out ideas until we came out with probably one of the most historically significant events in our cigar industry that we pulled that off. So
no, that was
pretty amazing.
and the set was insane.
It,
That was intense.
I'm
Everybody,
telling you.
really quick, I misspelled Micallef. Please redo it. I've got 2 entries in. Redo Micallef. I misspelled it, but it is collecting after I spelled it correctly. So give everybody another couple minutes. Go ahead and retype in Micallef. I see about 12 entries here, so go ahead and everybody get back in. So let me ask you then, as you're doing this year over year, at what point in time do you start to look for I should say, what's more important to you, the small changes or the big changes? And let me phrase it a different way. The first couple years, you're gonna get a lot more like big changes. And then as time goes on, you kind of settle into a flow and you're now taking minor little tweaks. Is that kind of where you guys are at this point? You're just
No,
taking little tweaks?
no, no, because the small things make small improvements. Listen, most of the small things is stuff we notice that the consumer doesn't even notice. You know, a lot of things we do at the Great Smoke, like my staff will say, "Do you really want to spend the money on that?" People won't like realize it's there. And I think, yeah, they will. They just won't know it. It adds. That's the small things. It'll add to the overall experience, right? A lot of people look at it, I think that's great. It's cool, and they'll remember that. So, nothing. No, it's nothing. It's never gets that way. In fact, the biggest change we ever made in the history of the Great Smoke happened this year.
What's that?
We got rid of the ticket books and gave everybody all their cigars when they walked through the door.
Oh, yes. That was amazing. You're totally right. I totally forgot. It
That
just
was
felt so natural.
that was the biggest change in how we ran that event since its inception. So no, man, it's never going to be small changes. It's just going to be whatever is required, and you make it happen. I mean, um, m- uh, what was it now? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we made the big change from moving from the agriplex buildings to the indoor main event area. I mean, that was a huge change. So yeah, no, I don't see it getting to a point where, oh, it's just going to be easy and small changes. I don't think that. Our team doesn't think that way. We think big, so we go big.
So how was that? How was that taken then? Was that as far as putting all the stuff in one bag? Did manufacturers like that more? Did they didn't? Was it
Everybody liked
twisted?
it more. Everybody liked it more. I mean, look, it's a little bit more of a pain in the ass for manufacturers, but and most of them know why and they're appreciative of it, and some just will do it anyway. But everybody loved it more. But I mean, look, ultimately, whether the manufacturers or my team or whatever. I mean, because look, my team loves it, you know. Because under the new system, we don't have to pack up and bring a whole store there and make the pit, you know.
Yeah.
Um, at the end, it didn't matter how much my team loved it, how much the manufacturers loved it. It was how did the attendees love it, and every single person raved about the new experience. So that was a big win.
No, I loved it, and the way you did it, I mean, it was just the presentation of it was just absolutely amazing. The all in one little box like that with the trays, it really, really turned out great. So
Yeah, even that had a little tweak this year. There's not 3 trays, there's 2. So all 32 cigars are going to be in one compartmental tray because there was no reason to have it in 3. It was a pain in the ass for people packing it, people pulling it. So like even to that detail, we changed stuff, right? Why do we need 3 trays? Why does the consumer got to pull out 3 different trays to get everything? Why does the team have to pull out 3 different trays? People pack it up. No, now it's one single tray that holds all 32 cigars. You pull it out, we put them in there. When you get home, you can pull one tray out and get all your cigars. So it's even to that extent that we just constantly think, how could this be better?
well, it's I like I said, I've really kicking myself that I'm not going to be able to be there this year. I mean, Michael Knowles going, like I just I really wish I could be there. It was awesome, by the way, last year to finally meet Marissa. It was funny because I was like, it was like, oh yeah, Ryan Miller for the brunch check-in, and she's like, Ryan Miller, Rocky Mountain, like our Ryan Miller, Rocky Mountain. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, it's finally nice to meet you.
Marissa, aka my housewife. I spend more time with her than I spend my own wife, my work wife, excuse me. Marissa has become a monster and a beast in the Great Smoke. She's come such a long way working with me, and I think it took a while for her to find her cadence and her stride, but she's got that event under her control, man. She is a monster. And I really enjoy working with her. I mean, she makes my life, not just work life, I mean personal life, even a lot easier. She's a blessing.
Well, I always forget that I can't just call you to have you on the show. I'm always like, when I do text you about coming on, you always send me the emoji and you say, reach out to Marissa to say
I
something.
don't handle my own schedule for a reason, because early on, like, I constantly fuck it up. Like, I tell somebody, yeah, because I didn't take the time to look at my calendar, and she's already booked me something, whatever. So it all goes through her now, man. She knows what I'm doing, where I'm at, before I do half the time. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got our first entry here. So everybody look here in the top left corner of your screen, and you will see the giveaway. I will make it a little bit bigger for everybody so they can see. Abe, can you see that?
I could see it on my phone.
Okay. Let's see here. Select winner. David McGann, first winner of the first 5-pack giveaway for the Micallef A. David McGann. David,
So I'm watching this on Facebook. Where did it say that?
top right corner of the top left corner of the screen.
I see a blue box,
Yeah.
but no name came up. It still says 9 entries in the draw.
Then it just didn't show up on it. Might not have refreshed on your screen. I see it on mine. It refreshed on mine. Did it not?
Oh, there's that much of a
Oh, there's
delay.
a delay. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
God, that's a monstrous delay.
I didn't know it was that much of a delay. I will
That
be
was a
adjusting
that
that.
was a monstrous delay.
I will be adjusting that delay.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that much of a delay. David, please go ahead and reach. Nice thing for them, though, is they don't know it's a delay. Only you and I do, right? Because
Now they do.
now they do.
Now they
Show's
do.
over 10 minutes before they figure it out.
Now they do. Now they know it's
Randy
delay.
Bush redo. All right. I will be working on that delay to address it. I did not realize that I had that level of delay on that. So we will get that worked out. But David, thank you so much. Reach out to me, David, and we'll get your address and get that sent out to you ASAP. All right. We're going to go ahead and stop those entries. and reset the draw. Everybody here moving forward, you are more than welcome to retype in the word Micallef and go ahead and line up for the next drawing whenever I feel like it. Just preemptively get ready for it. It'll work. Trust me, I've got it down now. We figured out it's a 10-minute delay. Abe called me on that. Did not realize it was that long of a delay. So but hey, the system works, right? So the setup I'm using, Abe, is honestly like much nicer than the StreamYard. StreamYard went through the roof on the pricing. Like ridiculous. So the new setup I have is through all the OBS stuff. So a lot of the stuff is automated through and is like attachments, and it seems to work a lot better than the StreamYard name selector, giveaway selector that they have built into it. So I'm liking it. But anyways, I digress. I know you don't get into all the technical geekiness of putting on the show and everything along those lines. So but what are we looking at next year for you as outside of like, let me ask it a different way. Are we doing another round of micro blends next year?
Microblends is an ongoing project. It never stops.
Can you share with us any of those that are potentially going to be coming out? Because the Aganorsa one's not a micro blend, right? We're not calling
No,
that a micro blend.
no. The SAS cigar is not a microblend. Well, I guess. Well, is that a microblend? I mean, yeah, it's funny. Nope, nothing I'm going to share at this moment.
Oh, I really thought I was going to get something out of you for that. You typically
Yeah.
always give us a little tidbit.
I like to give tidbits when I have something in finite where I know, hey, this is going to be here, then, and there, and yeah, there's a lot of projects in the works, but nothing I could say that's in a finite time frame yet.
What was your in kind of just changing subjects here? One of the things that I would like to talk with you about is kind of your holiday experience at the Debabneh house. And the reason why is because you are very busy this time of year. Your time is very sucked up and busy and filled in. So, what was your Thanksgiving like? And what is your Christmas like in the Debabneh house?
Um, well, I mean, look, here's the reality of how we kind of look at that kind of stuff, right? It's holiday season all the time. Like, there's nothing that's making our world better because it's the holiday time. It's just what is our experience is going to be. So, typically for Thanksgiving, we've been taking cruises the last few years, getting out of town, having a great trip, great time. Kids love it. We didn't do it this year because we're going away for Christmas this year. So, we had a typical, my wife's family came to the house, everybody all the kids were here. They slaved away for 2 days for a meal that we finished in 20 minutes, and and then ate for the next 3 days. And but it was a good time. My kids, they're all musicians, they're all singing, there's music going on. So it's honestly, in my house, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. It's a festive time most of the year. Holidays this year, Christmas will be in Austria. We're going to Europe. Kids went skiing for the first time in Lake Tahoe about 2 years ago. They loved it. They wanted to go again for skiing. And my daughters, all of them are really huge Christmas fans. I mean, they're the ones who decorated the house. My wife and I didn't do nothing. They sing Christmas carols like all year round. They're really into the season, the Christmas season holiday. So winter market's going to be right up their alley. We're going to take them to see some amazing winter markets in Munich and Salzburg and Vienna, and we're going to spend a couple days skiing in Kitzbühel, and that's going to be our Christmas holiday.
Now, are you a skier?
I've skied many, many, many times in my 20s, in my 20s, and I kind of stopped skiing kind of when I got too big and too heavy. When we went to Tahoe a few years ago, I did not ski. But now that I'm feeling a little more agile and normal sized, I will be hitting the slopes uh, this Christmas. In fact, we will be skiing on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Those are our two ski days.
Okay, yeah, I like skiing. Last time I went skiing though, I nailed a lady. I had a snowboarder cut across my skis, my first time, second time actually ever going skiing, and I panicked. The stopping thing turning into a triangle didn't work for me.
You didn't know how to snow plow.
I tried to plow, Abe. I tried. And up at Ski Brule in Michigan or up in Wisconsin, and they had everybody lined up for the ramp down in front of the ski exit. I tried to cut hard left, and I ended up going through a few people. They jumped out, and this lady decided she was just going to square up with me, and I had to make a quick decision and decided to protect myself.
Well,
Uh,
believe me, my wife's never been skiing before. So, she's got a 3-hour class in the morning, and I'm going to take it with her just as a fresher upper. It's been like 30 years since I've been on a pair of skis. But we're not hitting the moguls, bro. It's gonna be it's gonna be bunny hill heaven for us most of the day, and maybe a couple of nice slopes. This is going to be more of an experience thing for us than hey, we're skiers.
Well, I made a mistake skiing. So you went down this one entry, and then it all of a sudden split between like a blue and like a triangle. I forgot what it is. The triangle's the way I wanted to go versus the blue. The blue was like down like this. I
Yeah,
ended
no.
up sitting down. My ski fell off, and then I'm climbing like 20 feet back up the hill as people are going by, and I ended up having to walk down to get my ski. It was it was a sight to be seen. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna tell you if anybody's listening and they're into skiing, okay, from now experience of taking 2 trips, especially if you're a couple. I got kids, so it always fucks up the equation. But if you're like a couple, you want to get away for a weekend, 3, 4 days. If you know how to get tickets and shop and get the deals when they're on deals or use your points or whatever, you can go skiing in Europe. You can go take a flight to Europe, ski for 2 days, 3 days, and fly back cheaper than you could do it anywhere here in the US.
Really? What?
Yeah, skiing is so reasonably affordable in Europe. Here you have to. I was in utter shock when I found out how much it was going to cost for my kids to ski.
Oh,
Right?
it's ridiculous.
It's how do people do it?
I don't know.
I mean, literally,
It's so expensive.
it was absurdly expensive.
Oh
It
yeah.
is so cheap to go to like a Vienna or Austria or Switzerland and ski. You could find deals. I'm telling you. You want to get away for 4 days and you're a skier and you're going somewhere here in the States, whether it's Colorado or Jackson Hole or whatever it is where you go skiing, you could probably find tickets to get you to Europe, ski for 3 or 4 days, 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it is, and fly home less expensive than going skiing here in the States.
I mean, that says a lot. However, at the same time, I believe you. I looked into going skiing out here for my wife and I before my daughter was born. It was $100 a day for the pass for us for just the lift, and then we needed to rent all the gear. I think in total it was a bit about $300-400 a day for us to go skiing.
$100
Um,
is reasonable, actually. I mean, where was that? We're in Colorado.
one slope.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, no, it's not a pass. No, it's a day pass at one slope.
Okay, yeah.
If you
I'm
want to
telling you, man, I was shocked. I was shocked. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
holy shit.
Oh yeah. Well, you could actually buy so there's two big ski passes that and there's one of them called I think it's the Epic. And
That's
that's
what
a
we had, the Epic.
worldwide pass.
That's what we
That's
had.
like
We had the Epic passes
yeah, it's
for
like $800 for the year or something like that.
yeah. I mean, look, if you're a big skier, or I'm sure if you're local and they have like, hey, here's the pass for all winter, it's probably a lot more reasonable. But they know if you're coming in for 2 or 3 days, they're socking it to you.
Oh yeah, especially if you get hurt on the first day, then they're out the money the rest of the time you're there. So they got to get it to you from all avenues. No, and to be honest with you, skiing scares the crap out of me, dude. Like I want to go, I want to jump
Bro,
out of a
I
plane.
drive on I-95 every day. Skiing's got nothing. Skiing's got nothing on
Yeah,
I-95.
but
I'm
there's
telling you that
nothing
right now.
between you and anything else that you might run into.
Skiing's got nothing on I-95. I-95 is a health hazard, a daily risk. It's like walking the landmines of Afghanistan.
So before we move on to our next topic here, we're going to go ahead and run another giveaway. Remember, people, we've got 4 total 5 packs and a 20 count bundle that we're giving away of the Micallef A, the Gordo size, as well as the TGS ticket. Now, I'm going to make you stay to the end of the show for the TGS ticket for sure.
Bastard.
One to keep Abe around. He loves being here for 3 hours. I told him it was only 2 hours.
No, you're not William Cooper.
All right.
You are no William Cooper.
No, I'm not.
Happy birthday, Coop.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Cooper. For those of you that don't know or didn't yet, jump on Facebook right now and wish William Cooper a happy birthday. Let's see. All right, so we got 11 entries in this next one, and we're gonna go ahead and see who won. All right, remember, there's like a 15-minute delay, Abe found out, so I won't say the name. I will let Abe say the name because he could see it before I do. So hold on.
No, just listen. You go normal. The delay is fine. You just say what it is. Because I don't listen. Unlike StreamYard, I can't see nothing going on the screen. So, like, I can't see comments. I can't see any of your effects. I can't see a background. I have to look at the phone to actually see what the consumers are seeing. And that's where the delay is. But you just read the name normally, it's going to come out to the consumers like normal.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah,
Yep.
don't worry about the
You
delay,
had
bro.
me
It's
mess-
just-
you
Yeah,
had me
so you-
messing up here. Okay.
yeah, no, you just do it like you normally did it. Don't change a thing.
Ronald Pleasant. Ronald Pleasant. Again, everybody that has win or will win tonight, please reach out to me on Facebook Messenger and give me your address, as I will already have your name. And we will go from there. So Ronald Pleasant is the winner of the second 5-pack giveaway. All right, let's see here. Okay, so I would like to know, as you grew up in Chicago, same as I did. Probably maybe similar traditions. Obviously, Chicago Christmases, your family was very big. My family was very big. Christmases together were very big. My normal Christmas was between probably 40 to 60 people, depending on guests coming in. What was a size Christmas of for you growing up? And what is one of your favorite memories as a kid around Christmas time? Oh, hold on. I don't see
That's
you.
me. That's
Okay.
me. Are you talking about like Christmas Day?
Yeah, so what is a favorite like family tradition that you still do, or what is a favorite
Nothing.
Christmas memory?
Nothing. I don't do nothing from when I was a child because we worked Christmas Day. I did not have a holiday, like a real holiday, until I was 26 years old and moved to Florida because we were in the grocery business. We opened every holiday. So Christmas Day every year, there was no getting up, going to the tree. It was getting my ass in a car at 6:30 in the morning and going to the grocery store and preparing to open up. Now, I will tell you that working Christmas Day, and honestly, this is probably where a lot of my customer service stems from, but working Christmas Day was one of the most fulfilling days to work all year long. Okay. We would get there at 7, we would get ready. And let me tell you something. We were in a little neighborhood store. The store was about 6,000 square feet, and if you want it, maybe 7,000 square feet. And if you want to have a little perspective, your average chain store like a Publix or a Kroger is about 40,000 square feet. Um, but everybody forgot something for Christmas Day, whether a loaf of bread, whether some extra meat, whether family was coming over, where they ran out of milk. I don't care. The registers didn't stop moving from 7 in the morning till 2 o'clock. I think we would close like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we half a day.
Really?
Yeah. And they wouldn't stop moving. And nobody cared what anything costed. No one was looking for a sale. They were so grateful and elated that we were opening, like thanking us. Oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much. We would get pies. They would come in with pies. I mean, I grew up in the store. These customers knew me since I was 5, 6 years old. So, they'd bring us food. They knew, I mean, they were just so nice. And that was my memory of Christmas growing up. Then we'd go home. My mom would have dinner, and we really didn't have presents around the tree. My family never kind of really did that. My dad gave me an envelope, my brother an envelope, and that was our Christmas. And we'd watch football or whatever. And then traditionally for us too is
That's humbling.
yeah, that was my
That
Christmas.
that's
That was
humbling.
my Christmas, my Easter, my Memorial Day, Labor Day, July 4th. I mean, that's what we did. And we'd always close on July 4th, like, so we had a nice rich community of like cousins and something. It got to be over 100 people, like in a close knit area. So like July 4th, we'd work, but then we like a lot of my family would reserve this like area in a forgot what they call it, but like park district or whatever, and they would barbecue. So after work, we would just go straight there, and we'd play volleyball and whatever. So there was things that was going on, but holidays started working 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. That's how my holidays started.
I mean, if you think about it though, like that taught you how to appreciate the holiday a lot though, because you got to see where your time wasn't wasted being there. It's not
No,
like
and let me
nobody
just tell you
showed
something.
up.
Had I stayed in Chicago and took over the business, I would have never closed on holidays because I knew how much that meant to the people there. Now, when I got in the cigar business, bro, you don't need cigars Christmas Day. Get your shopping done the day before, you know. But you're out a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, some eggs, man. You're saving people's like day. They can't make their cake. They forgot the eggs. So yeah, if I had stayed in the grocery business, I probably would have never changed it. But when I came to Florida, man, first things like, wow, I got 7 now holidays a year. That it's actually a holiday, and kind of I don't because I don't work it, but our stores with the bars, which our older stores never used to open New Year's Day. But if you got a bar, man, New Year's Day is the day you want to be open. People come watch games. It's actually a good bar day. So my stores with bars actually open up New Year's Day.
In talking with a few buddies that
Forest
are
Preserve. That's what it's called, Mike. Thank you. Forest Preserve.
in talking to a few people that are friends of mine that are
Here's the
bartenders
here's the Bunker Hill, Mike.
or owned bars. A lot of them say they only stay open on Christmas for one reason, and that's to give people a place to go.
Yeah, but you know what, bro? I can't give people a place to go. There's a lot of other places they can go. I can't give places people to go at the expense of making people work on Christmas Day.
Oh, totally. I'm just saying, like you'll
I
find
mean,
that often as bars are open Christmas Day.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't. I mean, because look, I never look at my establishment as a bar, really, outside of maybe New Year's Day. We're a cigar shop. We just happen to have a bar,
Correct.
and people operate that way. And if you're watching, you know it. You know the difference whether you walk into a cigar shop that has a bar or a bar that sells cigars. Two completely different cultures.
No, they're very, very much different cultures. And I think probably as the bar goes at smoking, its biggest time of the year is TGS, right? It's got to be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be. That's the most revenue the bar brings in all year.
yeah. And well, there's the most people there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I mean. Like it's
got a couple thousand people in town. It's pretty busy.
Yeah, and you have a great bar. Again, for any of you guys that have not taken a trip down to the mothership, hey, you guys got to go. Take a trip. It is awesome. Abe's office is legendary, and if he lets you inside of it, it's incredible too. But no, I mean it's got a great setup, and so what about now? Since you have a family, they're older now. What are some traditions you've started with your children that you keep up on a yearly basis?
Well, we do the typical Christmas thing, right? The tree will be full of gifts, though no gifts this year.
Well, yeah, you're going on a trip.
That
That's
was
the trade-off.
that was the trade-off. That's your gift, and they are all happy about it. So no gifts this year, but typically a tree will be full of gifts. We let them open up one the night before, and then we get up in the morning, and they all come down. And me and my wife sitting in our front room by the tree with a cup of coffee. We watch them all open it up one by one, and Brandy will cook an amazing dinner. Later on in the afternoon. Dinner on holidays is typically like 4 or 5 p.m. and um, it's just a cool. It's just a time to just chill back and appreciate everything. And knock on wood, I got pretty grateful kids. They don't take nothing for granted. They're good hearted, they're grounded, and it just makes it fun. It really does. I mean, you know, people tell me often about my own accomplishments, what I've done, especially people who've known me for, 30 years and have saw where we've come from a single 900 square foot little shop, right? But I still consider my greatest accomplishment to date are the 4 kids I have.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're molding life. You're building people in society to be valuable to society, and
You know,
you're teaching
most
that.
people most people don't think that way. That's my job here. My job is to create 4 souls that will add something to the universe, not siphon something from it. Be productive in some positive way to this world while they're in it. And I'm pretty proud of what's been going on so far. So still got a ways to go, but been pretty proud.
So I'm going to ask you a question on that point. You're very successful as a business owner, as an entrepreneur in the industry. You've done very well for yourself, I'm sure, throughout your time in the industry, from where you started to where you are now. And how do you keep your kids grounded and being like, oh, this is my dad's gonna pay for it, or my dad's gonna fix it, or my dad's gonna do this, or he's this person, like how do you keep your children grounded in a point to where it's you're not giving them everything? Because that's a hard thing to do.
So I'll
Does
tell
that
you a
make
funny,
sense?
yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm driving to my daughter's basketball game Monday. And, you know, 9 out of 10 times when I'm driving home from work, I will call my family, my mom and dad. Driving is my unwind time. If I don't have calls, I got to catch up because I wasn't able to answer my phone during the day. I usually will call my mom and dad and catch up. First call when I get in my car every day is my wife. Hey, honey, I'm on the way home. I just tell her I'm in the car. I'm on the way home, so she knows. And that way, her lover can get out of the house before I get home. Uh, then because I don't want to come into that. And then I'll call my dad or call whatever family member or catch up on some calls. So I was talking to my dad, and he a lot of times because this is the season. Where are you? I'm on my way to Ash's basketball game. I'm on my way to Petra's basketball game. And then I had to tell him, well, Petra has away games because when my kids played in the rec league, it's like 3 minutes around the corner from my house. But now Petra, I had to drive an hour and fucking 20 minutes to go to one high school for her game and whatever. So we're talking, and I hang up the phone. All right, bye bye. But he doesn't hang up the phone, so he's still talking, and I can hear him. And he's like talking to my mother, like I don't understand. Like what's the big deal? Does he got to go drive an hour? He's going here, going to their games, going to their games. Like he's feeling for me because he knows I'm running around working and then going spending all these times with my kids and whatever. And he's not saying it like a negative way to my kids, but he's like, is it really that important? But meanwhile, he forgets, and this is something that you'll know as you if you haven't noticed it already with your parents. I'm going to try to be conscious as I get older, but he's critical of the stuff that he actually did himself. My dad used to make sure my dad never missed a football game or a basketball game or a soccer game that I ever had, even if he had to leave work early. He did that for 8 years, but he forgot. And now he thinks it's absurd that I run around and do this with my kids. So I find that funny. So I think my upbringing, look, it's tricky slope. And I don't, if anybody follows me on Instagram or social media, I posted a video of my daughter getting her first car. It's a tricky slope because when you're blessed to have a better life or, to have more than you had when you're a kid, your natural instinct is as a parent is to want to give your kids more. It's just natural. You didn't have it. So you remember that feeling of not having something. So you want them to have it. Right. But the world is all balanced, and it's really funny. I went out. Well, let me finish this story before I get tangent, but it's all balanced. So you want them to have it, but they have to understand the appreciation of it, that it's not a given, that it's a privilege, and keeping that balance is important. My daughter got in her first fender bender. You know, my daughter got in her first fender bender in the parking lot of school, and I had to pay for it, but she's paying me back every week. My daughter works in the warehouse. She performs at the shop. She does babysitting in the neighborhood, and every week she'll pay it back, and she will pay it all off back. And she makes her own money, and she fills up her own gas. So you have to have balance. So one of my oldest friends invited me yesterday. It was a really nice day because we don't get to catch up often. He actually helped me start the Smokin' website back when it was atrocious. It was nothing. I did all the graphics and he did all the code. It was such a makeshift, awfully looking website. But we ran it that way for years because we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, we just like building a car out of your garage with no parts. And we got to catch up, and his two daughters came with us. He has three girls. His two daughters came with us, and we're talking stories. We got to really catch up. But he's I don't want to say Buddhist, but I forget kind of what he follows his thing in life. But like, he's a vegetarian, but not because of health reasons. Is what they believe in is they can't take on the karma of another life, right? Because that's something he's got to work off, whether through meditation or whatever, because it just brings bad weight on their soul. And it's very interesting. We've always had talks about it. But he said something to me yesterday, which I thought was brilliant, because he's that way with his girls. His girls are all self-sufficient. We help them, but they go their own ways and everything. He goes, look, and he tells them, he goes, look, you can't just give them money, because nothing in life is free. If you get free money, like from dad, or dad helps you out, you don't know it, but you have to work that off. It's almost, he looked at it like it was almost like an energy
Interesting
karma.
concept.
Yes, like you got this. He goes, like, if my daughter needed $500 something, I just gave it to her. Yeah, okay. She thinks it's free, but it's not free, because you don't grow and you don't develop until you learn to actually work that kind of stuff off. And I thought that was really deep. I mean, we talked about so much shit, and that stuck with me. So he invited me to. There was a very good thing here at Florida Atlantic University. It was NobleCon. NobleCon is this big company that startup companies and finds investors for them or whatever. It was here at Florida Atlantic. It was like a 2-day thing. But one of the things was they actually bought Shark Tank down here. They called it Croc Tank. So Damon Wayans, Robert, and Mr. Wonderful all came down, and they really interviewed them for like about an hour. It was very cool. And then they had 4 businesses that went up and did a pitch for them, and they basically did Shark Tank live in the auditorium. It was really, really fun and really, really cool. And then we went out to dinner afterwards. But yeah, man, it's a balance. It's hard, So you want them to learn, because if you don't, they won't fend for themselves, right? So that's, I think, the hardest thing about parenting. And you'll know as you're daughter gets older, I need to make them better. I want them to have a better life, be easier than my life, but also not take away from their ability to function in life and appreciate what they have. So I think that's the trickiest part. And you know, you asked me how do you keep them grounded or whatever. And I'm going to tell you something. And anybody who knows me, I mean, look, Richard said I'm still working. He knows when I come in, when I go out. He knows at 3 a.m. I'm still answering emails or doing something. You got to spend time with them. You want to be an influence on your children? Spend time with them. If you don't find a way to spend time with them, then guess what? You will not be an influencing factor in your children's lives. So, you want to let nannies raise your kids. You want to let your kid. I mean, look, I get it. Some women are single moms. They got no choice. They're in daycare 10 hours a day or whatever it is. That's another universe. But if you have the ability, spend as much time with them as you can. You'll learn that you'll be an influence on them. And I think that's part of it.
So, do you who's harder to kind of express that on? Your daughters or your son? Who accepts that?
Express it on or be effective on?
Be effective on.
The two oldest girls, my oldest embraces it completely. Even when Petra special, even I got to be careful because they're in the house. Petra, even when it's not what she wants to hear, there's a part of her that knows that there's a reason and there's a greater good and there's some logic to what I'm telling her. And she'll usually always come around, quicker. The second girl, too, more open. My youngest daughter is special. I'm not really sure if she. I don't know what the right words to say is, but she kind of has her own little happy world, and she'll always be happy. It's a blessing in some ways. I mean, it really is. And my son doesn't get nothing. He tries, he wants to, but my wife says he'll grow out of it. Listen, that's the slogan. That's the slogan. That's the theme song of my son in this household. He'll grow out of it. He'll grow out of it. He'll grow out of it.
Oh. Who are you?
But he's my boy. I at least the girls, we got 3. One goes south. Hey, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. But I got one son, bro. It's got to come out right.
Who's the easiest daughter to get $5 from you?
Oh.
And I don't mean just $5. I mean just like, who's the easiest daughter to be like, hey, Dad, I need $10, $20.
You know what's funny? And I didn't really think about this until you dawned it upon me, is probably my oldest. And I think it's probably because she doesn't expect it. And she works on her own and makes her own shit. And likes to be on her own shit. So, for instance, perfect thing the other day is after her basketball game Monday, we were driving home from work. I stopped by the gas station. She has her own car. She stopped by the gas station unknowingly. I went in there to get some things. She comes up and she's like, I need so much on pump number whatever. And I just told her, I got it. Don't worry about it. This is gas fairy day. And, she wasn't expecting it. She was coming in, made fun of me there and then had her money out ready, told the girl, she wanted $50 on pump, whatever. And I picked it up for her. But I think it's easier for me to do that because it's unexpected. It's not like, Daddy, can you? Because that's the one you really don't want to do it with, because you're not helping them, So, yeah, I think it's probably my daughter, and it's for that reason. Because she's the most self-sufficient and doesn't expect it.
That's interesting. I only have the one kid, and it's hard to say no. When they know how to wrap you around their finger, they know how to do this, the begging, or not begging, but like the cutesiness of it. It's tough. It's tough. So let me ask you: is it
I'll
easy?
give you a little piece of advice. If somebody told me, learn to say no now, so they'll say yes later.
It's true.
When you tell them what you want or what they need to do, they'll be more apt to say yes. Sometimes the more no's you give them when they're younger, because you don't give enough no's now, bro, They're just going to tell you no forever.
So, do you is your do you have different let me put it this way. Do you have expectations of your son taking over at some point or
I'm too old
wanting
for that.
to?
I'm too old for that.
Okay. Well, you
I'm
don't.
too
Like, you could work up itself up through the ranks.
No, I'm not going to be working that long, bro. I'm 52. The boy's 10 years old.
Abe, I don't think you could ever pull yourself away from this.
Absolutely can.
Do you really think you could?
Got a whole plan already, bro.
What's your
Absolutely.
what's your out
Bro,
limit?
I've been working since I could walk. I was working a cash register in a grocery store at 8 years old. I'm ready not to have a period in my life of not working.
Do you
You know,
think
I
you
mean,
could really just sit back and watch the brand go or go with somebody different?
you know, so here's the thing that people like you, don't understand. Even my daughter, when I say people like you, my daughter says the same shit. You're gonna sell it? You can't just sell it. What the fuck do you think I'm working for? I don't have a 401k. I don't have a retirement plan. My business is my retirement plan. That's the exit. Every dollar I made while you were growing up and doing shit, I put back to build my company. It didn't happen magically. So yeah, this is the payoff at some point. So yeah, I mean, look, will I take a consulting job that I can work as I want? Please, yeah, I'm sure I could probably help a lot of people out in this industry, and yeah, I may stay involved, but to be dealing with stuff at 2 in the morning and constantly on call. No, bro. I've been doing it my whole life. I'm committing.
Do you think you could step back half and still
So,
maintain the business?
so it's really funny. Steve Saka and I had this conversation. Okay. So um here's the thing. My daughter, Petra, is old enough that if she showed interest, and look, I'm not pushing any of them to do it. You know, I'm totally okay with them finding their own path like I did in life. But she's old enough that if she did show interest and wanted to do it, then I would stick around to help her grow. And she understands the culture. She's been part of it her whole life. She went to the first Great
Correct.
Smoke as a baby.
Yeah.
She goes to the Great Smoke every year now. She goes to the dinner now. She works in the warehouse. She performs at the shop. So she's already in the culture and understands it. So she would really, really be a good candidate if that's what she wants to do. Um, but the other three, middle one probably has no interest, and the other two, they're too young. It's not going to happen. So my daughter says the same thing. So Steve Sock and I were talking about this, and he mentioned a friend of ours who's successful, extremely successful, and bigger than I am, probably, definitely. And but he's like part time. He's doing what you're talking about. It takes a back role, only handles certain things. And Steve said, "No, why don't you just do something like that?" I said, "Here's the problem, Steve, and you tell me if you could do this. You can only do that if you can exist in a universe where shit's being done wrong, shit's not being done to the best it could be, and you could live with that less than mentality, right? I can't." And Steve goes, "Yeah, I don't understand exactly what you mean," because Steve Sock and I are, very similar philosophically, because I can't. I would be more aggravated trying to take a step back role, knowing that they're not doing it right. This is not the way it should be done. No, you fucked that up. So, and that's eventually, because look, in reality, is when you're guys like me or Steve or anybody else who's built their company from ground up, there's a standard that we have, which is why we got to where we are. And it's very hard to find anybody because you didn't build it. You didn't bleed 30, 40 years of your life into it. You know, that's something that you have to experience to want to know how your business will be that way. It's very hard to hire somebody who's going to have that feeling, right?
You're
So
right.
I'm not the type of guy that I could live in that universe. So yeah, cutting complete ties,
You would have to.
it'd be the only way I would enjoy retirement.
You would have to, yeah. So you could
Because
wash your hands of it.
Yeah,
of the
otherwise,
mistakes or the screw
yeah,
ups.
because it would hurt.
It would.
Look, this is why I don't even hang out in my own cigar shop mostly. Like, if I'm traveling or go to somebody's shop, man, it's the only time I can remember what it was like when I was just a consumer hanging in a cigar shop because I can't do it in my own store. Even if you come and visit, I'm socializing with you. I'm looking at how they made the cappuccino bad, how the ashtray's dirty. Why isn't it? Can't even relax in my own store. And you want me to take a step back? Guys like Steve and that's not a reality for us. So yeah, I would have to. I really have to just cut all ties. I mean, I'm sure I'll stay involved at some level, probably help them with the great smoke for years to come. But and look, I'm not looking to sell and not give a shit. I want to sell it to people I'm confident in
Oh, of
who
course. You still
who will
want the
continue.
brand.
Yes, I want them to build
Yeah,
that
of
and continue the
course.
success of it. But yeah, no, man, I don't think there's a universe where there's a step back part of it, unless, like I said, Petra shows some interest and is interested in taking over the reins. Then maybe, but otherwise, I don't see that universe. It's very hard because for her, she's almost vested in it. Like she had your response. Like, you can't sell it. What are you, crazy? What do you think I'm going to do? Unless you go become a big star and you're going to fund my retirement. Yeah, I'm going to sell it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, she'll be in a
So
symphony someday. You know
I don't know how much symphony people is, but I don't think she's handling my retirement being in a symphony. I'll tell you that. So,
that.
I mean, look, it's one of those things, and I think you have to navigate your life for what you feel, is content. And I look at my retirement. My wife and I talk about building a house in the DR. That's
Really?
yeah. We're gonna call it Gettysburg. Gonna build a little compound there, and have some bungalows for family and friends when they come visit. It's an hour and 20-minute flight back and forth. If a family wants to come to visit or we want to come home, we leave this house for the kids as a home base as they're getting out of college and trying to figure out where they're going to go work eventually, or that they stay in the area. And we got a place if we come back to visit. And I'm well connected there. I speak Spanish. We have already a community, just the cigar community alone down there. And it's just a simple life, no hubbub, no chaos. And my joke is I'm going to open up like a little place called Burritos and Beer. That's all I'm going to have: chicken and beef burritos and Presidente beer. That's it. Hours are, I'm open when I'm there, I'm closed when I'm not. And hopefully the tourists will learn that there's this big gringo who's got a little burrito shop, and they'll come and hang out, and I'll be sitting outside smoking a cigar. And once a month, my wife and I will pick out where we want to go travel. That's the dream plan.
The way you explained it, so I love looking into like wealth as far as family wealth and wealthy family and just kind of how wealth passes from generation to generation. And one of the things you find if you kind of look at that is usually wealth will leave on the third generation a lot of times. And it has to do with when you listen to people talk about it, it's very likely why Petra is the way she is the older successor uh sibling or child usually takes it over. They're the ones that saw you struggle. They're the ones that didn't get to have the time because you were there. So when they take it over, they have that same mentality of I grew up watching my dad, kind of like with you with your dad's grocery store. And then by the third generation, what you find is they typically sell it or that goes under because that third generation typically doesn't have that same drive because they grew up
They're giving it,
wealthy.
and they were
Correct.
giving it. Listen, I mean, look, I think without a doubt, my oldest understands the sacrifice and the time and the dedication it's taken. I think she's the most conscious of it and really has a deep appreciation for it more than my other three kids. Nothing against them. I just think she has a better understanding of it. Petra's more of an empath than the other three, so I think she gets it. Um, but I mean, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I didn't take over the family business. I had that opportunity. I chose to come down here and start from scratch, and I have no problem if that's their path too. You know, I've planned well enough for them that if they don't screw it up when I've planned well enough for them. I mean, look, I mean, here's a per example, right? They all got their Florida prepaid colleges. Okay. So of course one of them starts talking. Oh, I'm looking at University of Miami. Oh, I'm thinking about going to. I said, listen, you can do whatever you want, but I did my duty as your father. You got your Florida prepaid. Anywhere you want to go outside of what that covers, you need to figure out how to do it. Because if you can't figure out how to do it, then you shouldn't be doing it anyway. Because you're half minority. You got good grades. You play music. You need to figure out how to get your grants or whatever it takes. But this is what you get from me. You got your Florida prepaid college. You want to go somewhere that doesn't cover or whatever, then you have to find your way and figure that out. So that's the giving, and then they got to figure their shit out. So you know, started some stuff for them as kids, and if they enter the working world, I told them you need to continue what I've started for you, and if you don't fuck it up, you don't be stupid, then it really doesn't matter what you do in life. Because I find it very disheartening people who take noble careers that don't pay well, right? And then they got to retire. You know what I'm saying? So if you do want to take one of those noble careers that really doesn't pay a lot of money, whether it's a teacher or whatever it is, you don't have to worry if you don't screw up what I've started for you. Because by the time you get to that retirement, you'll be okay. And that's all you can do.
And that's more than what most people do for their kids. I mean, 99% of the people don't have that ability to be able to set that up. So we're going to be giving away the next three gifts here, the next three Micallef packages. Go ahead and type in the word Micallef, and we'll give everybody a few minutes to go ahead and get that in. Then we're just going to do the next three right off the bat, and we're going to do the TGS here in the last 10 minutes of the show. So we have a different code for that. So type in the Micallef right now, and we're going to go ahead and draw the next three drawings. If you've won and it picks you, it looks like you get 2 5-packs. It's Christmas. I don't care. But thank you very much, Dan and Al and Amanda. So,
I want to say something which is important on what you mentioned to anybody out there listening who has kids or have kids who have kids, right? I didn't come from a family of wizardry and finance. My dad just worked hard. That's all he did. Missed out a lot of opportunities in life. No one there was, and I'm going to tell you what, this American school system is brilliant for not teaching people how to handle money and finances and whatever, right? These kids grow up, they don't even know what a credit score is. They get out of high school, they don't even understand these concepts, no economics, no nothing. And I think it's done on purpose because they don't want people to be smart. So there's a lot of things I didn't do right. They don't want them. They want cheap. There's a lot of things I didn't do right because I didn't have the knowledge or the education. I've been blessed to have some great customers who educated me along the way later on in life. Some of it's too late, but I'm doing the best I can. But here's an important thing if you have young kids: ask questions. Most people who know what they're doing ain't afraid to share knowledge. Ask the questions, learn what, because time is on your side. If you start as a younger parent and do the right things, it's a lot easier. Because the kids got a whole shitload of time too. So yeah, man, don't be afraid. Ask questions. There's always people. And I'm going to tell you something, all you cigar people out there. Some of these smartest people exist in these lounges that you hang out with and smoke cigars with. So you can find them there. They will give you the guidance, and anybody who's asking you for your money, don't trust them in a cigar shop. But if they're giving you the guidance, don't give anybody money. Invest in anybody in a cigar shop. But if they're giving you guidance and advice on what you should set up for your kids and how to do it, you could find that knowledge in a cigar shop, man. Don't be afraid to ask.
what has been one of your favorite Christmas memories with one of your kids since you've been a parent? And after this, we'll
Well,
do the drawing. Where you were either blown away, had to leave the room because you were taken aback, but what has been one of your favorite Christmas memories with your children?
I mean, they're all great. I mean, I think one of my fondest memories at this point. I mean, look, because they all experience it differently. So I don't have one. I have kind of like everyone at a certain time, like when they first see the cookie eaten, when they come up and believe in Santa still, right? That's
Yeah.
such a great. I love the fact that we can keep that cover for them and let them exist in that world where they actually think someone came in and our house left gifts and ate some cookies, and they're not smart enough to smell the peanut butter on my breath, and the peanut butter cookies. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of great memories. I think it was awesome for the first time that, a couple years ago that we were skiing and spent Christmas with my parents. So not only was that a trip for my family, I took my parents with us. So they went to Tahoe for the first time and we spent Christmas all together there. And for me, that was very, very cool because, I have a family here now. My wife has tons of family here now. 98% of everybody who's in my family is still in Chicago. So I don't get a lot of holidays with my family. Um, so it was nice to have that. So that, and I think the kids really loved it because that was their first trip with their grandparents. It was kind of cool.
What was it? Okay, so we're gonna do the giveaway here. All right, so the next three giveaways, they're gonna be done in this order. We have 2 5-packs to give away and a 20-count bundle. All right. Thank you so much to the Micallef family for being able to allow me to do this. So let me write all this down because the last thing I need is anybody texting Abe why I didn't get something when it's my show. Because I already know that's going to happen. So if anybody doesn't get anything, if you don't email or if you don't reach out to me and give me your information, I can't send it to you. Don't text Abe because Abe's just going to tell you to reach out to me. All right. So this is not an Abe thing. That's the TGS that's coming up. This is me. So
Easy,
please.
easy, easy.
I
Take
know, but
take
I
a
want
deep
to make
breath.
sure. I want to make
Take a
sure.
deep take a deep
Okay,
breath,
I'll take a
buddy.
deep breath, but I
Deep
want to
breath.
make sure because the
It's
last thing
okay.
I need is them calling you.
It's
All right.
okay.
All right. So we've got, let's see here. Just want to make sure I express that, Abe, so you don't so I could say to you that I didn't. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and slide this over. The
Now, what are you
next
giving away now? The Micallef cigars?
This is the 2 5-packs and the bundle. And then here in about 15 minutes, we'll give away the TGS ticket. So we've
Okay.
got entries here. We got Alex Lancaster.
Oh, Alex, socialite.
Absolutely. Alex, reach out. Let me know. Next up, we've got Bruce. Bruce, we all know Bruce. He is very big in the cigar community. And here is for the bundle of the 20 Micallef A. Gordos. We've got Cody. Cody Carroll, right in my backyard. Cody, awesome. All right, Cody. All right, fantastic. Thanks, everybody. We will go ahead and do the TGS ticket giveaway here in a bit. So, Abe, how did you handle the whole? And I'm asking a lot of these questions also for myself too, right? Because this is so. How did you handle the Santa's not real with your kids? Like, who took that the worst? Who knew it from the beginning? And kind of how did that experience go?
I only had one memorable experience. The rest of them is like they'll just have said it like, "Oh, you figured that out, did you?" You know what I mean? It wasn't like a monumental thing, It's like at some point I just realized, "Oh, they know." Well, how long have you known? Ah, a couple of years now, Dad. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Because when you have four, they're always conscious not to make sure that the other siblings know. You know what I'm saying? So the greatest story of all time, though, is how I ruined it for Petra.
Okay, let's hear that.
I ruined it for her. So this is one of my fondest Christmas memories. It's not actually around Christmas time, but I can't remember exactly how old she was. But she she pulls me aside and she says, "Daddy, I know the tooth fairy is not real." I said, "Oh, what gave you that idea?" I said, "Come on, Dad. He doesn't show up for 3 or 4 days. Mom makes some kind of bullshit excuse. I know she didn't use bullshit, but mom makes some kind of excuse. And all of a sudden I hear people walking around late night. I see mom, and all of a sudden the tooth fairy shows up for one of my sisters. I mean, come on. It's mom." I said, "Okay, Dad, you figured it out. So listen, now you've entered a very special group of people, right? You're part of the people that know, right? But part of the job of the people who know is not to let the people who don't know. So now you have to work with me and your mother and make sure you don't ruin it for your sisters and your brother, right? So, you need to make sure that, they keep believing that the tooth fairy is real, that they keep believing Santa's real. And she goes, "What?" I said, "What?" She goes, "Santa's not real?" I'm like, "Wait, like you figured out the tooth fairy, but you thought some big fat guy shows up at our house and brings gifts?" And yeah, I literally ruined it. I ruined Santa for my oldest daughter.
How old was she?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but old enough where she was smart enough to put Tooth Fairy together, but didn't quite think that it related to Santa or the Easter Bunny. I guess I don't know, but yeah, man, that's a true story. I ruined it for her.
Well, so who held out the longest of your kids for the belief?
I in some ways, I kind of think it's Petra. No, I don't know. I don't know because, like I said, most time as a parent, everybody has this thing where they kind of believe it's like, the moment it happens. Most of the time, you don't. Like, yeah, I really don't know. And the only reason why I say Petra is that she's the oldest, so she had the least opportunity for one of her siblings to let it out of the bag. You know, just from a logical standpoint. But I think around 9, 10, they figure it out. My son's 10, he knows. So, and I think he knew last year when he was 9. So yeah, it's, 8, 9, 10. But I'll never forget one year where Zane, my middle daughter, said something in school. And this is like when she was like 12 years old. Maybe even 13. And the mom complained. How could she say that in front of the kids? And my daughter just assumed as a 13-year-old, she knew Santa wasn't real. It's like, what did you want to say? How long do you want to let this illusion go on for your kid? I mean, I don't know. I mean, can you blame my daughter? I mean, she didn't think that at 13 years old, your daughter still thought Santa was real. I don't know. See, look, I ruined it for Marshall. I ruined it for Marshall too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Marshall.
All right, so as we get lined up here for the TGS ticket winner giveaway, I assume, is this going to be virtual or in person or their choice?
So this is what I'm going to do. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. The ticket we'll be giving away is either or. If you can't make it and you want to send us a virtual pack and join us through your computer or TV, we'll send it to you virtual. If you want to make the trek and experience it live, we could put the ticket live. All you need to do is make sure you have a Smoke In account. If you don't have one, you go, you build one, you make it there, and you get Ryan the email in which your account is under, and we just put the ticket right there. Now, since I've been watching this broadcast, I could see there's people here who I know got tickets already.
Correct.
So if you win a ticket and you already have one, I will send you a consolary different prize if you'd like.
Ooh.
I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be whatever's behind door number 2 or the Great Smoke ticket.
I've already talked to Abe. It's a box of anarchy. No, I'm totally kidding.
You never know.
You never
You
know.
never know.
So
you never know. So I'm going to make it a little bit fun if somebody has a ticket and they win one. So yeah, you never know. You can just take that extra ticket, or you can take what's behind door number 2. It could be a $25 gift certificate. It could be a brand new car. You don't know.
So dealer's choice or TGS ticket, your call. And the only way to get part of that
Not
is
dealer's choice. It's my choice.
Well, yeah, okay. Abe's choice or TGS ticket, your call. All you got to do is go ahead right now. It'll be open for another 10 minutes. TGS 2025, people. No spaces. TGS 2025. Just want to make sure that's clear. There's going to be no whining if somebody misspells it.
So, there's a perfect example about just trying to make positive experiences, right? I thought of that like literally in the moment you were talking about giving away the ticket, right? But you could give away a ticket. But I'm saying to myself, because I try to think like a consumer, if I already got a ticket, oh, whoop-de-doo, now I got 2. All right, I can invite somebody maybe, but how exciting is that for a winner, right? And then I could say, we'll give you a ticket, or you could have this. But what fun is that? It's not fun. Now we just made a whole game out of it. If you win a ticket,
Exactly.
you got one. Now you got to gamble. Now you got to choose.
Absolutely.
Now you got options. And look, that's all making something a better experience for somebody. It's to that level of detail. So you think there's someone I could hire that'll think like that and work like that and do like that? I doubt it, bro. You find me that guy, bro. I'll be in debt. I'll be in debt.
So TGS 2025, Abe's choice or TGS ticket, up to you. I don't know the value of anything other than the TGS ticket, but I know Abe, and I know he will make it very, very special.
I promise whatever is behind door number 2 will not be $185. Is that what a ticket is? Is that what a ticket is
Yeah,
nowadays?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
189.
All right. It won't be $189. I promise. It'll either be more or less.
It won't exactly be
It will
on the
not be
dollar.
$189. It will not be an even trade.
It might be better. Who knows? And that's the that's the fun. Okay,
See, look
Alex.
at Alex. We just made his night. We just made his night. See? Making things better for everybody.
Uh, So as we kind of wind down the show here, before we do the ticket drawing, everybody, we've got 5 more minutes on the ticket drawing. If you're watching and have not put in TGS 2025, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for, but just do it already. I wanted to ask you, how has your advent calendars been taken? I saw you had posting stuff about only having 10 left, then
They're
5
gone.
left, then 2, they're
Advent
gone.
calendar sold. Look, here's the problem. And I've been thinking because I was cleaning up today. Whenever we have these limited drops, we always got to put some aside away. God forbid one gets lost in shipping, one gets crushed in shipping, whatever. So I got this stash of 5 to 6 to 10 of all these limited releases. I may just do a socialite drop and say, look,
Clean
all this
house.
shit that you thought was gone forever is available at noon today. First come, first serve. Go fend for yourselves. Jump in and get them. You know, I was looking at all the stuff we had, but so that's what those 10 advent calendar boxes were. So once we know everybody got them and it was good to go and it was safe, all right, I got the last 10. Who wants them? And they went a lot faster than last year. And now we're with the Hanukkah box. I'm telling you, the selections in this year's Hanukkah box is retarded. I mean, I think we just started shipping them. Like, was it this week? Monday, Tuesday? I think.
I ordered mine on Tuesday.
Yeah, my calendar's all screwed up. But the problem with the Hanukkah box is if they're doing it right, no one's going to open it until Christmas. But if anybody leaks out what's in it or tells people, they're going to fly. It's because here's the problem with the Hanukkah box, right? I got 25 cigars. I got to put in an advent box. So, you start with one and you work your way up to 25, last 4 or 5 great cigars. Or I only got 9 in that box. There's only 9 cigars in there, man. So you can't put like a dud in there.
No.
It's got to be 9 wow cigars.
Correct.
So that's why the Hanukkah box gets what it does.
What's a harder box to pick?
Hanukkah.
So the 9 is harder than the 25.
By far, because most of the stuff that's going in, I mean, look, the Hanukkah box, the Advent calendar is all in, ascending value, right? And it's all regular production stuff. There's not anything rare or limited. I mean, there's special stuff. There's expensive stuff, especially as you get toward Christmas. The Christmas cigar has always been a banger.
Oh yes, the unicorn.
I mean, I guess the TGS cigar was in there one year, so that was.
It's still a banger.
But I have to say that's not a regular production cigar, but for the most part, it's regular production. But 9, man, I really worked to try to get something different. And we had last year, we had Alex Bradley make a cigar special called the Shamash for the Shamash candle. So it's the Hanukkah box is a lot more work and effort.
So is it harder for you to choose the final cigar for the Hanukkah or the Christmas?
Both equally, because that's it. That's the last one. That's the one. If you miss on the final cigar, you've kind of ruined the calendar, right? So you really try to find something that you feel that 98%. I mean, listen, there's always going to be somebody that'll go, "Oh, this is what I got. Ah, it sucks." I mean, it's always going to happen.
Of course.
But you're really trying to look at something that you say, hey, 95, 98% of people are going to be like, wow, when they open it. That's the goal when you're
Well,
picking that out.
I know we were all like, wow, for that chubby unicorn. Holy cow. That was unreal. That was $100 cigar that we got out of that 2 years ago, Christmas
Pretty much
past.
half the value of the whole box.
Exactly. That's so. What is, how do you determine 25 or day eight?
Value.
So it's only,
I just said the cigars go in ascending value. One is literally the least expensive retail, and 25
yeah,
is the
but
most
you could
expensive
put a
retail.
$1,500 cigar in there and charge two. My point is it's still got to be a great high end expensive cigar. So is that a hard choice? Because with all the Opus X's and stuff like that out there, and all the other stuff, like you have a lot to choose from in the $40 to $60 range.
Listen, number 25 and number 9 are always hard picks. They're always hard picks, but they'll always be the most expensive cigar in the box, regardless. I mean, it's just the kind of cigars I'm looking for are always going to fall in that price range.
Do you start with day 25 and day 8 and work backwards?
The Hanukkah box, no. The Hanukkah box, I just start reaching out to everybody who's interested and willing to do something special, and then after we see what they do or what the value is, then we just put it accordingly, right? I mean, day 8 is over the top and usually something that, day 9, which is the candle number 8, is usually over the top. But yeah, the Advent box, same thing. I'm looking for a 25. That's usually the first cigar I work on, and then the rest fall into place.
When do you have, just so I just want people to understand, because your cigar of the month
So
club,
here's a perfect example. Like 1 year was a Padron 50th, right?
correct? That was 3 years ago.
Okay. We started planning well in advance of putting them aside because I don't get, I'm not getting 250 at a crack. There was times where that shit was so backward. So we just started saying, hey, when we get some, put 25 aside, put 25 aside from this one. If you can't put 50 aside from this next order, and we had to make sure that we had, the 200 or 300 or whatever it was that year that we sold enough of cigars to put it in that box.
So I want people to understand that are not part of the cigar of the month club or have not bought an Advent. The You start planning your cigar of the month club months in advance. You've showed it. You've showed the Excel spreadsheet on the show before.
So it's not planning. So what happens is it's an ongoing process.
Correct.
So like every month we're talking with somebody or something comes out and says, I want this for Cigar of the Month Club. Well, when do you want it? Send them as soon as you have it. You can get them in bulk. Right. So we have the process doesn't really stop. So whether it's something new, and look, sometimes we'd like to get, well, hey, we don't have enough of this. This is selling out, whatever. And we got to wait a year or whatever. But the process is always there. And a lot of times we'll get a TBA. Okay, we'll commit to doing it. But I can't tell you when we'll have the cigars. It might be sometime next year because it's hot. It just came out or whatever. But then on my list, it'll say TBA. So it's a reminder for us to follow up, say, hey, you ready? So that process of accumulating and acquiring cigars we want for the club is an ongoing process that we do every day.
And that's what
Every
sets
week.
you guys different with the club.
So
It's not oversell. It's not clearance. It's not dusting.
no,
It's planned.
everything. I mean, look, the membership is so big that I would never have anything overstocked that many cigars,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So we
Correct.
have to buy for it literally, and so we acquire all the time. And so at any given moment, I mean, if we're doing our jobs right, there's probably anywhere from 16 to 20 cigars in my warehouse that we have for the Cigar of the Month Club. So, like now is December 5th, probably in another 5 to 6 days, I'm going to pull out my sheet, see what's sitting in the warehouse, and then curate the next 5 cigars from what has come into the warehouse. And I know I have there.
And
But
that's what separates you from literally everybody else.
no, I don't think anybody does the club the way we do it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody.
That's what separates you from everybody else. Is a lot of
But this
clubs
was
are
specifically this was
overstocked.
specifically my baby. This was my project. This is something I chose to tackle because, but I had been in the industry for years, and I never ever saw anybody be excited about belonging to a cigar club. I saw way more complaints. Um, Common thing people say is, "Yeah, I was in it for 5 months. I got the same cigar 3 times."
Correct.
Right? Because no one's putting that thought of effort. I
No,
literally have a stack of pages to make sure we never make that mistake. Right?
correct. I've
Um,
never gotten a double.
it's happened once on purpose. So I'll tell you something interesting. It's happened once on purpose because early on we did a Davidoff 702, which I love that cigar, and then they discontinued it. And like when we did it, I think the club was only like 200, 150 people. You know, so 90% of our membership never got to experience it. It's because it was discontinued. I literally bought every single one they had. It was in that Cigar of the Month club again. So that was a repeat. But I'm gonna tell you what's more impressive. And I don't think anybody, I really don't believe anybody in this industry could say this. Not only have we never repeated a cigar, we've never repeated a blend. So when I say uh Oliva Melanio is only in there once, like Oliva Melanio Maduro, let me be specific, was only in there once.
This past month.
If you got it in Toro, you're not going to see it in Torpedo next time around. Now, the club's broken 5 years this year. That part of the philosophy may change, and this is the only reason why. See, most cigar clubs. Look, I think I've said this before. If you heard it, the average lifespan across this industry of a cigar club member, what do you think it is?
3 to 5 months.
Yes, literally 4.5, 5 months.
Yeah.
That's the average lifespan. So
It gets boring.
when you have people who have been in it over 5 years,
Bruce
and
has just hit
4
4
years,
years.
and 3 years, and every month there's a new graduating class who have made milestones, right? It makes it harder, right? But then again, this club's constantly growing, so there are now so many people who've never gotten to experience that cigar I had in month 26 or that cigar I had in month 31, So I think at some point I may do a blend again in a different Vitola, just so people in our club never don't miss the chance of something that we might have done in year one, you know? And I think if somebody got just off the top of my head, right, an Oliva Melanio in year one, and it came again in year 6 in a different size, I don't think that's upsetting anybody.
No, no, and you could
So,
even call attention to it and say it's a retro, and you can give like your best over the past four
and look,
years.
we could even say that this was from month number 27. So,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's something that may have to evolve to really keep it fresh and lively and not penalize people who just found us and found our club because they'll miss a lot of great cigars,
So
right?
how long is your process here? After this question, we'll do the drawing and close the show. But how long is your process for picking the advents? And then Bruce wants to know how many advents do you sell?
Well, we went through 300 advent calendars and we made the same amount of Hanukkah boxes.
And then how long is like are you done with the selection by September and you already know what's going to be in the advent calendar? Kind of what's
Ad-
your cutoff?
Advent calendar, we'll have the selections probably, we'll have it finalized, I'm going to say, because we pack them in November, August. Probably have it done in August, but that's not long of a process. The Hanukkah box, I will start shortly. I will start shortly after the Great Smoke because for a lot of people, they want to make the cigar.
A
I might actually,
special.
yes, so I might actually start before the Great Smoke. It might be in January where I start reaching out to people, say, hey, would you like to be in our Hanukkah box? Can you make something special for it? Or do you have something special for it? I mean, a lot of times these companies will have, I almost gave out I almost said one of the cigars. But a lot of times, A lot of times the company will have a really amazing cigar that's sold out and hasn't been around and is a release and it's great. And so they'll have that lying around. They'll send me some of that. So yeah, the Hanukkah box needs a little more time and work.
And that's awesome because you're with the Hanukkah box, you're potentially getting exclusives, one-offs. You're like really high end special stuff, and that's really what
They're definitely,
separates you.
they're definitely more rare, more sought after, and some of them even were made exclusively for the box. So it's definitely, and like I said, it's nothing against one holiday or the other. It's just I only have 9 cigars, so you can't fluff 7 and throw one
Sure.
great one in there. That's not going to go over well.
No, not at all. So as we come in here for the drawing, we've got 12 entries in here right now. And what we're going to do is if you win, you've got a choice of Abe's choice, which may or may not be more or less than the value
Which
of the
will
cigar.
definitely be more or less, not may or may not be. It'll
It'll
definitely be
definitely
more or less.
it'll definitely be more or less, but it's your choice if you already have a ticket. And you have the ability, if you don't have a ticket, to have a virtual choice or an in-person choice. All you've got to do is reach out to me, give me your email address, and I will email it over to Marissa as the winner, and then that is how that will be done. So if you win this, reach out to me, give me your email address. If you're a smoking user, if you're a smoking customer already, give me that email address, please. And I will send that over to Marissa, and it'll be loaded within your portal. Correct, Abe?
Be in your account. When you
In
go
your
to
account.
log into your account, there's actually an account menu item says the Great Smoke. Go there, your ticket will exist there.
Perfect, perfect. So let's go ahead and do the. There's no whining or crying in the
By
cigar
the way,
industry.
special props to my father who just joined us and is watching. What's up, Dad?
Oh, wow. Awesome. That is a huge honor. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining in, Raja. Raji, I'm
Raji,
sorry,
Raji,
Raji,
Raji.
Raji. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yes, and if you'd
Um,
like to smoke a great cigar, our 25th anniversary cigar was in tribute to my father. It was blended by Willie Herrera and made at the El Titan de Bronze factory. And it's the Herrera Esteli Miami, the Raji cigar. You can find it on smoking.com.
I still have like two, and they're incredible. I bought an
You know
original
what? I
box.
literally, listen, I literally bought like probably the most ever of a micro blend release because I wanted it around for a long time. I had my dad's name on it. It was a tribute to my father. And I'm at the warehouse the other day. I'm getting sad. I'm like, oh, that stack is getting low. I may have to bring it back. I can't have that cigar just disappear from the universe. So we'll see what happens.
No, please don't, because it's a really
The
good
stack,
cigar.
the stack is getting low, bro. It's coming. It's coming to the end of its lifespan.
It was a great ashtray too. Holy shit. That was an awesome, awesome promotion you ran for that.
Still
So
got ashtrays left, but they're getting low too.
here's the selected winner. We've got Richard Beard. Richard Beard. Fantastic.
There you go, Rich.
Richard, reach out, send me your. I know you're or a smoking customer already, so please reach out to me and let me know what your email address is, and we will have that loaded in for you. Or let me know if you want Abe's choice, and who knows what that will be. But I know it's
What
going to
what
be good.
what they call it? And let's make a deal when they picked the door and it was like it's not whammy. Whammy was I forgot what that show was called. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. But there was a name when you bought in Let's Make a Deal where if you picked behind the door, there was something you got something. It was not good. It was less than what you could have had. I forgot. I gotta look it up after this. Memories going in my old age.
No worries. No old age. Come on, man. You're barely over 50. Old
Yeah,
age. You're
yeah.
looking great. So Abe, thank you so much for coming on the show. Alex says door number 2.
That's it, there was a name that they have when it's a dud when it's a dud. So I'll find it. I'll do the research.
Well, to everybody watching the show, please, I am going to be actively growing this audience as much as I can
Zonk.
over this next
Thank
year.
you, Marshall.
Zonk.
Zonk. Yes, it may
Zonk.
be it may be something way better than a great smoke ticket, or maybe a zonk. Or it could be a Zonk emblem made out of pure silver. I don't know, but I'm having fun with this.
It could be whatever Abe wants. That's kind of the fun of it. It's your choice. So I tell
Yes.
you what, Abe, this show, you were one of the first believers in this show when I literally had nothing, and I owe a lot to you as I'm trying to build this show. Everybody, if you're watching, please do three things for me. Follow me on Facebook, subscribe to me on YouTube, and follow me on Rumble as well. I'm trying to build up my community as much as possible for over this next year. We're going to be doing a lot of giveaways in 2025. I've got some really cool stuff lined up. We're going to be doing some shirt stuff too. I don't know if I'm going to be selling them or giving them away. I don't really care, but all I know is it maybe I could work something out where it says Smoking Studios on the shirt as well. I gotta talk with somebody I know in smoking.
Brainstorming on the air.
Right? Who knows? However, thank you to everybody that makes this show remotely possible and watches week after week. Abe, you've been one of my biggest supporters and somebody that's always been in my corner, and I love having you on. Thank you so much for spending your night with me. And until we see you all again, smoke what you like, smoke as often as you can. Have a great, great